Vision is market failure. And when we say market failure, it is the opposite of government failure. Sometimes the government also fails. It means that the government is unable to allocate the resources according to the requirements of the economy. And in that case, that is more dangerous than the market failure. Market failure occurs when the government is unable to allocate the resources efficiently, effectively, and according to the requirements of the consumers. It is basically the failure of the market system, the private producers. And in that way, the government needs to intervene. Intervene means they have to make certain laws and regulations, and they have to force the private producers to do something better for the economy. And in that way, they will safeguard the consumers also. There are certain, sources of market failure. For example, the monopolies. You know that monopolies can dictate the terms to the consumers, output-wise and price-wise. So the government has to do something. Here I have written how to correct the market failure. In case of monopolies, they can make certain laws which are going to investigate the monopolies and cartels. Cartel means combination of the firms in order to reduce the competition from the market, and that is not good for the consumers at all. Maximum price barrier the government can use to control the monopolies. It means that the government is going to say that this is the maximum price above which you cannot sell your product. And then the monopolies can be taxed heavily as well. So there are some legal restrictions on the monopolies to make their resource allocation and the pricing and their output in line with the requirements of the consumers. High external cost and negative externalities. What are the things we include in negative externalities? Basically, the external cost, the social cost, and you know that the social cost is basically the combination of private cost and external cost. What is external cost? The cost borne by the third party, which is not involved directly in the process of production or that economic activity. Negative externalities, of course, the private producers, if they are not using the environment-friendly policies and they are polluting the environment, throwing the chemicals without any treatment in the river, it will pollute the environment, noise pollution, air pollution, that is part of the external costs. So that will definitely be tackled by the government with the help of heavy taxation and penalties. There is a term which is used in the developed countries, pollution permits, and it means that the government decides that this is the level of pollution which is acceptable, above which if you pollute the environment, then you have to pay heavy fines. So that is a way to control the market failure in case of negative externalities. Then the positive externality. Now this is the most important and interesting part of market failure. Positive externalities. The term itself is positive. But the thing is that again that can also create problems in the economy. In a way, when we say that there will be certain environment-friendly policies adopted by a firm, what will happen? Their production costs will be very high in that case. They are doing a good job, but the thing is that they have their own problems. In fact, their private costs will increase. They will shift that burden on the consumer by increasing the prices of the product, or if they decrease their production because of the higher cost of production, that is cost push inflation is occurring, and it is very difficult for them to manage the production by considering the environment friendly processes in production. So what they will do, there will be a decrease in supply. So in order to achieve the optimum level of production, and that is basically known as the socially optimum output. The production cost will be very high, although it will be appreciated by the consumers, and they will give great benefits to the firms who are working on socially optimum output. The ethical firms, socially responsible firms, and the firms which are using techniques which are not harming the environment, it's a great job done by those firms, but their costs are very high. That will result in decrease in supply and increase in the prices of the products, although the demand of those products will also increase. That is the concept of socially optimum output, and why the market fails sometimes because of the positive externalities also, that the cost is high for the producers, and they are giving the price to the consumer, which can be a very high price for some of the consumers in the economy. So they will be rationed out from the market. Okay. Then there are labor incomplete information. Incomplete information is another source of market failure. For example, the medicines sold in the market, the side effects are not being told or printed on the product. So that will create market failure because the consumer's health is at risk. Incomplete information also means that can also be connected with the labor market, that the labor doesn't know where the jobs are available, so they become maybe occupationally or geographically immobile as well. That is also a source of market failure. Another thing is that when we talk about the labor market failures, we say that the role of the trade union is very minimum. It means rules and regulations are such in your economy that it is not supporting or protecting the workers, and they are not empowering the trade unions. So what is the solution? Making certain laws about the safety, security, and against the unfair dismissal of the workers. Who is going to make the laws? The government is going to make the laws. And similarly, you want your workers to be mobile, occupationally and geographically as well. So whenever a job is advertised, you can make certain laws for the private firms that you should give the ad on a national TV somewhere where majority of the people can look at that ad and apply for that job. So there will be an equal opportunity for all the people in the economy. The thing is that another short-termism is a source of market failure. The private producers and the private firms just looking for a short-term benefit, they will ignore the long-term benefits, of course, which will be the social benefits. So a firm can divert all the resources to a very popular product, can deplete the resources quickly and leave some basic necessities behind. So it will be a very short-term gain, but in the long term, maybe you are producing more consumer goods and lesser capital goods. That is an excellent example of short-termism. In that case, what happens when you have lesser capital goods? Your production activity will be less, GDP will be negatively affected as well. So this is basically we have seen today the market failure, the sources, and how to correct the market failure. Thank you.